The theory of vision, or visual language, showing the immediate presence and providence of a deity. Vindicated and explained. George Berkeley, 1733. Berkeley's purpose in writing seems to be to respond to critics of his 1709 essay on vision, and also to, in general, respond to individuals who are currently promoting the worldviews of natural religion and atheism, and also to bring attention to what he considers to be misrepresentations by them of revealed religion. And so his overall purpose here, as in all of his other philosophical works, is really to highlight what he passionately feels is the true nature of revealed religion. So Berkeley argues that any human, religious or not, is free to build a moral foundation for their life without any reference to revealed religion. Anyone can contemplate the ideas of beauty, order, fitness, etc., and thereby promote virtue or good action. One can acknowledge the strongest traces of wisdom and power throughout the structure of the universe without any explicit reference to the God of the Hebrew Bible. Revealed religion is specifically founded on the belief that we live in a created universe, that humans are accountable to God, and that a path to eternal life has been revealed to all the peoples of the earth. It's interesting to note also that Berkeley consistently argues throughout all of his writings that atheism and natural religion ultimately and unavoidably lead to skepticism in regards to physical phenomena, i.e., they inevitably lead to the idea that all physical phenomena is founded on some unseen and ultimately unknowable external matter, whereas he maintains that revealed religion offers a firm foundation for knowledge, because existence only has meaning in the spiritual realm, and the physical world is secondary to the spiritual. So paragraphs 9 to 18, he starts defining some terms. Sensible object, that which is properly or immediately perceived by a sense. Berkeley also calls these ideas, really he calls them sensible ideas. So, for instance, the sounds and light are proper and immediate objects of hearing and sight, respectively. Whereas objects of the imagination is what is suggested to the mind by means of what is immediately perceived. So by sounds and words, all other things may be suggested to the mind. Yet things so suggested are not thought the object of hearing. So Berkeley's overriding question in his whole theory of vision always is, what is the power or the efficient cause of our ideas, or our sensible ideas? So firstly, Berkeley argues that no idea can cause another idea, meaning that one sense perception, example what we touch, cannot be the efficient cause of some other sensation, i.e. the colors that we see. He bases this on the fact that our senses are separate streams of unrelated information. So a cause is only inferred by reason from its effects, those effects being those objects or ideas which are immediately perceived by sense. So therefore, the outward cause or powers of our perceptions are not objects of any of the five senses. So, the power or cause of our sensations is an object of reason by that inference that we're making, which cannot be perceived by senses. It's beyond sense. So sense ideas which are observed to be connected together are vulgarly considered under the relation of cause and effect. But in reality, are only related as arbitrary associations or signs. So still defining his terms, what is the power or efficient cause of our ideas. 2, at the outset, assume an obscure, unperceived, and unknown cause under the banner of external matter will not suffice. A thorough and complete investigation into the nature of our vision is required, to consider our own ideas, to define terms, and to discover the true principles thereof. Only then will we be able to collect some knowledge of the external, unseen cause of our sense ideas, whether it be one or many, intelligent or unintelligent, active or inert, body or spirit. And this is precisely what he undertook in the 1709 essay. And through that essay, he in the end concludes that vision is a visual language that was instituted by the author of nature. Now in paragraphs 19 to 34, he's responding to a critic. So there was an anonymously published critique of his 1709 essay out there at the time, and he responds to that in those paragraphs. So in paragraphs 35 to 37, he claims that in order to understand the cause or the power behind our sense ideas, there is a need for a philosophical treatise regarding vision. A treatise that examines the connections, relations, and differences of things visible and tangible, their nature, their force, and significance. This philosophical treatise would be a complement to the other approaches that are mainly found in the literature of his day, which are medical studies that regard the physical characteristics of the eye, the nerves, the coats, the humors, etc., and geometrical studies of refractions and motion of light, examining vision through the use of lines and angles, characterizing mirrors, lenses, and the like, so far as they are proportional to the objects of geometry. So in paragraph 38, he states his hypothesis, which is that vision is the language of the author of nature. Now he mentions that in his essay Towards a New Theory of Vision, 1709, it was an analytic treatise that started with analysis and then proof of basic principles, which then led to the conclusion of the existence of a visual language. Whereas this current treatise that he's writing in 1733 is taking a synthetic approach, where the conclusions in the analysis being assumed as principles in the synthesis. So really he's proposing, I guess in modern language, that the visual language is his hypothesis, and he uses it to explain the nature of visible things and explains the phenomena of vision. Paragraphs 39 to 40, language consists of signs. A sign is a means whereof things not actually perceived by sense are signified or suggested to the imagination. So in a spoken or written language, sounds suggest other things, and so characters suggest other sounds. And in general, all signs suggest the things signified, there being no idea which may not offer to the mind another idea which has been frequently joined with it. The sign might suggest an image, an effect, or a cause, but in all cases, suggestion is not a causal relationship. It's an arbitrary association. So the proper and immediate object of vision is light. In all its modes and variations, various colors in kind, in degree and quantity, some lively, others faint, more of some and less of others, various in their bounds or limits, various in their order and situation. Now, cases where a man born blind has suddenly received his vision, has his vision restored through some medical procedure, prove to us that our eyes present to us an explosion of color, shade, and shadow that has no necessary connection to the world of touch and sound. We learn to form arbitrary connections between the tangible world of touch and what we see. From what we see, we develop via our reason concepts such as extension, size, figure, motion, which we use to guide us safely through our daily life, as well as bringing us really indescribable pleasure and wonder about what's around us. So through this learning process, we group experiences under common names, attributing them to both sight and touch and sound, for expedience and efficiency, not because of some fundamental causal relationship, some efficient causal relationship. Due to the regularity of phenomena, the associations we make between unrelated sensory information become so firmly established in our psyche that we begin to assume incorrectly that one causes the other, or that there exists a unified external object that causes our sensations. So in paragraphs 39 to 69, through careful analysis, Berkeley then shows how we learn to associate the immediate objects of sight with the location of objects, the magnitude or the size of objects, and distance. And he concludes that the thinking reader can now understand that the association is at its root an arbitrary one. So this is a breakdown of the paragraph structure, and it really is a summary of his fairly extensive 1709 essay. So in paragraph 48 to 51, it's worth noting that in these paragraphs he's introducing terminology that is not in the 1709 essay. So in the discussion regarding the retina and the physical workings of the eye, he uses the term picture in reference to what is visible, and image, which is in reference to tangible. And he does this to help clearly make the delineation between sight and touch. And this really, I think he's doing this to clear up some confusion that he created in the 1709 essay, where, especially in paragraphs 116 to 120, he really uses those two terms interchangeably, and it gets kind of confusing. So apart from that, up to paragraph 69 is just arguments presented that are similar to what's in the 1709 essay, although they are more summaries of that more extensive work. He continues with his detailed analysis of the connection between the world of touch and the world of sight, and how our perceptions of distance, magnitude, location, motion, and all the judgments we make regarding them are dependent on the action of our reason upon repetitive experience. Whatever useful information we gain from vision is the result of the operation of our minds. We cannot immediately perceive distance simply by looking, because touch and sight are unrelated streams of data. We learn to perceive distance via our vision. This information given to us through light is like a language. The pictures, the shapes, the figures are akin to words or signs of a verbal language. When we learn to speak this visual language, we are learning a language instituted by the author of nature, instituted to protect and guide us through our life.